Hey everyone, it's Rachel from the kitchen at Sugar Maple Farmhouse, and today we're going to make homemade angel food cake. All right, so today we're gonna make this homemade angel food cake, and it is so simple. I made this cake for the first time last month in June. I don't know why it took me so long to make a homemade angel food cake because it's really simple, and I'm gonna show you all the easy steps for doing it today. I made this last month because in June is our son Alexander's birthday. If you follow me on Instagram at Sugar Maple Kitchen or at Sugar Maple Farmhouse, then you probably know Alexander is our first son who was stillborn in 2011. So I made an angel food cake for my angel. However, this is the quintessential summer dessert, so it's perfect for any time during the spring and summer season. I'm going to show you how to make it, I'll show you all the steps, and let's get started. So the first thing about angel food cake is that it consists mostly of egg whites. This is my egg white mix. There's 12 in here, and I'm gonna pour that in first. So I do like to use a stand mixer for this recipe because there is a ton of mixing involved, and you'll be sitting there, if you use a hand mixer with your arm, just sitting there for a really long time. However, if you don't have a stand mixer, you can use a hand mixer. Just make sure you're using the whisk attachments for it. All right, so now I'm gonna put in a little bit of sea salt. Come on, sea salt. And I'm going to add in vanilla. And now I'm going to whisk this on medium for about 5 minutes. Let's put that up. Let's plug it in. You can see how the egg white mix starts out pretty translucent. It looks a little yellow here, which is from the vanilla. That's perfectly fine. The mixing is going to completely change the look of this. When mixing together in this first step, you really want everything to come together and kind of look silky and smooth. So this mixture is really going to change from kind of what it is to a silky, beautiful, smooth mixture. You may also get some soft peaks in it, and that's perfect. If you don't get them, I wouldn't get overly concerned. You'll probably be fine in the next step. So here you can see how the mixture is already starting to change. It's frothing up, it's turning a nice white color, and you're getting some soft peaks, which is perfect. So now you can see the slight change here. It's a very fluffy mix now. It's a little whiter, and those peaks are more defined. All right, so now I'm gonna add in cream of tartar. I've got the mix looking good. It's got some soft peaks, and this is really gonna help it stiffen up and give it some nice stiff peaks. While that whisks, I'm going to mix together a cup of cake flour and 3/4 cup of sugar. So this is going to get added in at the end, but since I have time now, I just like doing it now. You could also use a sifter. I don't happen to have a sifter, so I always just use a whisk and mix like this. Now you can see how this has really come together. It's a beautiful white color. You can see just how frothy it is, and you're getting some nice stiff peaks. This is exactly how it should look. Now that I have my stiff peaks, I took this off the mixer and I'm going to slowly mix in this sugar. You want to do this little by little and fold it in. Make sure you're scraping the sides so that you can get it all. And you're left with this really beautiful, fluffy mix. This is one of those times where I wish you guys could kind of feel the texture of this as you mix, because it's so light and so airy from whipping those egg whites together. It's really unlike any other cake you're going to make. All right, so now that all my sugar is combined, I am going to combine the flour and sugar mix that I mixed together over here. And I'm going to do this really slowly too, so that it can get nicely incorporated and finish up our cake. Again, make sure you're scraping the bottom and the sides so that the flour gets really incorporated to everything well. All right, so I've just added the last of the flour to the cake mix. I'm gonna get that in there really well. Just make sure everything is incorporated really nicely. Scraping and scraping all the sides and the bottom. Sometimes I find that the flour likes to sink to the bottom in this, so you want to make sure you really get that well and incorporate everything in. Okay, so now I have this beautiful light and airy mix that I'm going to put in my pan. This is the kind of pan you guys want to use for this. I call it an angel food cake pan. I have no idea if there is a technical name for it, but this is the kind of pan we're going to use. You do not want to grease the pan either. So we're just going to slowly start putting this in here. Make sure you get all the batter in, go through and scrape the sides. can just get it all in there so that you can have the biggest cake possible. My family, when I made this in June, gobbled this up. We had some friends come over and eat with us, and everybody loved this. So I know that your family is going to love this too. And it, like I said, it's so simple to make. I mean, this is pretty much it. I like to go through and just even it out a little on the top so that we can make sure we're going to have a nice even cake. You don't really want to slam this pan down or like even tap it like you might with some other cakes, because the egg whites are pretty delicate and the bottom is also not attached. So you don't really want it to kind of start seeping out the bottom. But using the spatula, it's a little messy, but it works well. I do like to clean up my edges just to make it a little bit nicer looking. Won't get too into the cake, but just anything I kind of got up here, I'll take off. All right, now I'm going to put this in the oven, and it's going to take about 45 minutes. While the cake cooks, I'm going to make the whipped cream topping, and I'm also going to cut up some fresh strawberries and kind of add some sugar to them so it can start pulling out the juices. I'm going to wash this. I'm going to make the whipped cream in this again just because it's easier, and I can multitask. I can cut the strawberries while the whipped cream is mixing. So now I'm going to get going on the whipped cream and the strawberries. I'm going to start the whipped cream first. So I will use 1 pint of heavy cream. If I can open it, I will use it. And I'm going to pour this right into the mixer. Again, you can use a hand mixer for this. Make sure you use the whisk attachment and not the other thicker ones. Next, I'm going to add in a powdered sugar. Maybe, come on, there we go. And a little vanilla. All right, get that up, set it to medium, and then my dog is knocking on the door. I don't know if you can hear her, but I'm gonna go let her in really fast. All right, while that whisks, I'm going to cut the strawberries. All right, you guys, so the camera turned off while I was finishing things up here. I think the card ran out, but I am going to let you know. So I finished up the whipped cream. This is in the fridge until I am ready to serve the cake. I would hold off on putting the whipped cream on the cake until you actually need to serve. That way it can stay chilled and in the fridge and fluffy and good. I also, I thought the camera was going and it wasn't, cut up some strawberries that I'm going to swirl into the whipped cream, and then that I'm going to put on top once the cake has the whipped cream on it. So these are about 3 cups of strawberries and then 1/8 of a cup of sugar. I covered it. I'm going to pop this in the fridge too while the cake is finishing up baking. All right, it's been about 2 hours, so it is time to get our cake out of here. You want to take a knife and just go around the edge of the cake. And that should help to release it. smells so good just on its own. Also, my dog is acting crazy. She has an internal timer and she always knows when it's breakfast time and when it's dinner time. Except sometimes she gets confused and thinks it's an hour earlier. So she thinks it's dinner time. It's only 3:30. Anyway, she's over there in her cage pouting. All right, so here we go. Ready? You know what would have been great is if I would have gone around the center too with the knife. You should do that. Don't forget to do that part. It'll release fine for the most part as long as you can get the knife around the edges, even though we did not grease this. Okay, let's try this again. Ta-da! All right, so we have a little bit where it kind of fell, but that's perfectly fine. You won't be able to tell once we add the whipped cream. I can now also hear my children playing up in the bedroom. So just bear with me as we finish this up here. So I've just grabbed the whipped cream and the strawberries from the fridge. I'm gonna scooch the cake over for a second. Look at that mess. I also had Kevin grab really quickly for me some basil from the garden. I like to add edible flowers and basil to the top of this cake because I think it makes it look pretty. The basil, I think, tastes wonderful with this. The edible flowers, last time I used wild daisies. And you'll see that in the photos that I show you guys here at the end. But I did not pick those today, so I'm going to use, there's the dishwasher. So I'm going to use the basil, and then I might use some zinnias from the plant that I picked behind me. All right, so I've got the whipped cream in here. It doesn't look amazing, it tastes delicious. I did a taste test. And I have my strawberries. So I'm going to just take some spoonfuls of them. Actually, before I spoon it in, I think I'm gonna mash everything a little. This will help just bring out some more of the juice in the strawberries that has been pulled out of them with the sugar and the refrigeration. All right. Plop some of those in there. It doesn't matter if the strawberries go in right now or not. I wanted that juice in there though. All right, throw a few more of those in. And I'm just gonna stir that in. It just gives the whipped cream just a little bit of a swirl of strawberry in it, which I like. Maybe do a few more here. Come on out, friends. All right, so to top this, I don't do anything crazy or fancy. I just kind of put it on there. So I think we're gonna use just this spoon, and then grab a clean knife too. All right. The strawberries being in the whipped cream also kind of gives you a nice bite of strawberry as you're taking bites of the cake. The rest of the strawberries, I'm going to put some of them on top, but you can also reserve them for serving on top of each slice if you want. And you could technically do this with any berry. It doesn't have to be strawberries. If you prefer raspberries, use raspberries. Blueberries would also be great, blackberries. Ideally, when you're doing this part, put the cake on a cake stand. I did not because I'm not photographing it. You don't have to have a cake stand. Actually, you could put it on a plate too. But if you are going to serve it for guests, a cake stand is always nice. All right. Now let's just nicely top this off with some strawberries to make it look beautiful. And give it a little more color. Get the excess water off the basil, and then you can just pop the leaves in wherever you want, really. Again, I think it tastes lovely with the cake itself. So to me, the more basil on top, the better. But maybe you have people who don't absolutely love basil the same way I love basil. Isn't that gorgeous? Let's see. These have been in the house for a while already, so I've washed them. And these are zinnias. Just going to pop them in. The flowers will be edible, but again, they will not taste great. They kind of taste like pepper, so take them off. You don't have to keep them on. These have been in here for a couple days, so they're starting to look a little shabby. I think that's all I'm gonna go with. Anyways, so it's done. What do you guys think? It's so good. I'm gonna taste it here. Let me just put this back in the fridge, put our extra strawberries back in the fridge. And here is that one that I made with the daisies. All right, let's dig in. Look at that as pieces fall out. was kind of my middle here. Yeah, we'll leave that for now. So good, you guys. All right, I'm just gonna plop it over. Strawberry, whipped cream. Get it all in one bite. Oh my gosh. You guys, it's like dessert heaven. I feel like I should make this at least once a week during the summer. It's just so dang good. Thank you guys so much for following along today. I hope that you love this recipe for homemade angel food cake. Please, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, subscribe now so you can follow along with everything we're doing here at the farmhouse. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those in the comment section below and I'll make sure to get back to you. Also, if you want to know the exact measurements and the exact everything on this cake, there is a full blog post up at sugarmaplefarmhouse.com. So you can go there and I will leave that for you in the description below. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day.